I think also like allowing your team, like each one of you, to take projects and run with it. Like you had Beyond the Epidermis. You took the entire lift class and translated it, turned it all over into a Spanish version, videos, not text, the written chapters, everything. That was a really long, in-depth project. Beyond the Epidermis, we've been working on that for a year, the color theory project with the checklists. I think allowing you two girls just to run with that and do that. Well, why don't you tell them what it did for you rather than me speaking for you?
I think that you giving the Beyond the Epidermis project to me, especially you gave it to me pretty soon into me working here. So it felt like kind of like a big moment. Like you trusted me enough to give me a project that I knew how much it meant to you and how much it does mean to you. So like in that moment, I felt kind of honored to be able to have that project because it felt like you trusted me and you like trusted that my input would be good to the project.
Yeah.
And that you just trusted me to take care of the project and to give you a good outcome with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I just gave you a bunch of written content. You kind of pieced it together in a certain way. You had your own ideas, how it should flow and where the certain chapters should kind of sit in the book and how it should look and this and that. You had ideas about how to bind. You just had lots of ideas, and some of them you ran with, you just did, and then you told me later. Some of them you asked me, you got my input and asked me if I liked. And that project, you played a really important role, Willow. I'll just say that. And it wouldn't be what it ended up being without you, 100%. So I'm super grateful and thankful that you wanted to take that project and you did what you did with it, because I think I'm just as you are, I am really proud of that project. So I'm super excited. And same with you, Olivia, with Lift, the Lift Spanish. I mean, lots of people were asking for that to be converted over into Spanish, and that was an undertaking. I mean, you had to well, you know what you had to do.
Some words I had to relearn.
Yeah. 'Cause I remember you saying, I don't know if there's a Spanish word for shader, like 8-shader needle, you had to relearn, but you had to translate all the videos that I did in the course and rewrite everything.
I started dreaming with your voice.
You started dreaming with my voice.
Because I kept replaying the videos.
I keep playing the video. But it came out really, really, really good. It did. I mean, every 3 months I would check in a little bit. I would loop in. So where we at on that, Olivia? That ended up being a year project. But I don't think you or I, really understood how big of a project that was.
Yeah,
right?
And it built my confidence that you trusted me with that.
Yeah,
especially because you don't know Spanish, so
no.
How are you gonna go check it?
How am I gonna check it? I mean, hopefully you're not yeah. I mean, telling them things you shouldn't be telling them, but who knows? Who knows what? Yeah, what's on that Spanish course? No, we had some of my really good Spanish-speaking colleagues that do removal go in, not because we didn't trust you, but we wanted, you never want to launch anything without all your, I's dotted, T's crossed. So we wanted some Spanish-speaking colleagues that do removal to go in and review the course, the videos and everything to make sure everything was on point, and it was. So you actually got really great feedback.
I know, I was pretty glad. I was excited.
You were just glad it was over.
That too.
That's how I'm feeling about Beyond the Epidermis. It's been a long, drudging project. It's been fun. I love creating it, but sometimes you get to places in a project where it just seems like it's never going to launch because I'm the kind of person that, I mean, I bet my career on my projects, kind of, and it's got to be perfect. It's got to be everything. It's got to be everything. And so we've taken our time making sure that was really super accurate information and whatnot. So we are at the very tail end of Beyond the Epidermis. So maybe by the time this podcast launches, that
Fingers
will
crossed.
have been that will be launched out in the market. Yeah. So one more thing,
Mm-hmm.
the 80-20 rule.
Yeah.
I think that's what also makes us a good team. First is there's no micromanaging. We trust each other, and we bounce off each other really, really well. We're really independent in our own projects, but can come together when needed. And I think the 80-20 rule, I think this is something else anybody opening up their own studio should take into consideration. And the 80-20 rule is, sometimes we do this in our private lives too with our partners. We can expect our partner to be 100% of everything we want, need, and desire. And team leaders, owners of companies can expect their employees or their staff to be 100% of everything they want, expect, need. And that is delusional. Like, no one is 100% to any, it's impossible. If we're not even 100% to our own selves, there's no perfect human being, right? We all have room for growth. Every single person has things about themselves that they don't like, or they recognize, that they have to work on. And that's what life is all about, evolving and growing as a human, becoming a better human. So if as a human, you are always work in progress, and you're not even 100% to your own self, how can you be 100% to anyone else? How can anybody put that expectation on another person? Yet there's people out there that do. There's people that expect their romantic partner to be 100%. And that relationship is just, you're setting them that person up to fail, because they're never going to be able to meet that. It's not realistic. And same with in the work environment. There's no employee that is going to be 100%. It's delusional, and it's setting that employee up to fail. So that's where the 80-20 rule comes in. If you're 80-20, meaning that romantic partner or that team member, that employee is 80% of what you need them to be, then you're doing great. You got a winner. Keep them, right? Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah. I had never heard of that rule before you mentioned that. And it does make a lot of sense, because asking someone to be 100% for you is kind of, it's unfair, and it's not possible for them to be 100%. Especially at all times. Like, that's a lot of asking.
That's a lot of asking. I mean, I don't, maybe we have moments, like fleeting moments, where we feel like we're 100%, but just in day-to-day life, you're just, the overall picture, there's just no team member, no employee that is going to be 100% of everything. It's just impossible. It's impossible. Of course, there's deal breakers, that, everybody has their own deal breakers, right? Like, you can't have an employee that steals a lot. I mean, that's a given. But as far as just performance and being an employee, it's the 80-20 rule. You got to give, there's going to be mistakes. There's going to be times that they don't maybe get a project done on time, or, this, that, and the other. You got to give someone, that wiggle room, that 20% wiggle room. And if you don't, you're just going to keep churning through staff. You're just going to feel you've set it up in your own mind that they're not good enough. They're they're not the right employee. They're not the right team member because they're not 100%, right? And same in your romantic relationship, you're just going to keep going through partners, or there's going to be a lot of turmoil in that relationship. So I think the 80-20 rule, and I heard that on Dr. Phil, by the way. Yeah, he's come in handy. I've learned a lot from Dr. Phil over the years. But I think that's a really, really important rule or philosophy to keep in mind when you're building your team. You know, if you're getting out in your own studio and you're hiring a team, hiring a staff, hiring artists, that no one is going to be 100% ever.
Yeah. And I think like everyone's form of 100% is different.
Yeah.
So you can't expect someone to have all those qualities that exceeds your 100%.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So it's impossible.
It's impossible. It's impossible. And it's unfair.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, let me tell you your...
Yeah. What is it?
If you and Willow both are like 80-20, like that's that's average. You know, 80-20 is good, right? 80-20 is good. I mean, if they're like 79-21, then, you know, no. But 80-20 is really good. That's healthy. That's considered really, really healthy. If they're 80% of what you need an employee or, you know, a romantic partner. But honest to goodness, you and Willow both are 99-1. Odds in your favor. 99 good. 1 and the only reason I give you a 1 is to keep the pressure off. It's like no one's perfect. I mean, you showed up with a hickey yesterday, you know.
I tried hiding
Willow. So there's your 1%.
I'll take that.
Yeah. No, honest to God, if I was like sitting, you know, with like personal friends, you know, and you would never hear this, I mean, that's what I would tell them. I would tell them that, you know, like you two are like 99-1. It's like, how did I get so lucky? I mean, how did Kat and I, you know, get so fucking lucky? And it's fantastic. And sometimes, you know how sometimes like you told me, Olivia, you get anxiety, you feel like you could get fired. I have moments like that where like I love you guys so much. You're such a part of not just Girlz Inc. and my team, but me and the work that we're doing for the industry, that sometimes I can get fear and anxiety. What if I lost you guys? What if you quit? You know, and some, you know, and then I try to squash it right out of my brain, you know, but I'm wondering if other company owners like go through that. It's not something I sit around and think about all the time or churn all the time. You know, I don't want you to think that it's not, but every now and then, you know, how sometimes you can just get some dark thoughts or whatnot, or your mind can, you know, wander. Like I'll get that sometimes, you know, so I think it can go both ways, you know, like a boss or a team leader, if they don't have a healthy relationship with you and they're micromanaging you and they're, you know, there's time constraints on this and that and blah, 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 blah. It can make you feel anxiety and like maybe they're not happy with you and you're going to lose your job. But it can happen with a company owner too, or a team leader. You can think, oh my God, everything's going so great. They're such an intricate part of everything. Everything's working so well. You know, it's like, what if they left? I'd be fun, you know? So you can go, you know, company owners can go through that too.
I've never thought of that.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother perspective.
Maybe I shouldn't have said that. That puts you in a place of empowerment.
No, it makes me feel special.
No, it should. But, you know, Kat and I love you girls and what you mean.
We love you guys.
Yeah, we love you guys too. We're really lucky that we just get along and genuinely like each other. Yeah. And it's a good feeling. You know, it's a really, really, really great feeling, I think, all the way around. Yeah. So, all right. I think this was a really good podcast.
I think
Yeah.
so too.
Yeah. And it wasn't, I think we gave some really good advice. And I wouldn't want to do the 50th with anybody but you two. So I'm
Mhm.
glad you decided. I know you guys were kind of nervous. You're more
Yeah, a little
behind
bit.
the scenes kind of girls rather than in front of the camera girls. So thank you for spending 2 hours on your makeup this morning, Olivia.
You're welcome.
And thank you for covering your hickey, Willow.
You're welcome.
We appreciate that. I haven't seen a hickey since 1987. I know. It's like I had to ask Willow, hickeys are still a thing?
Yep.
Didn't know that. I guess that means it's true love. Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's kind of new. It's kind of a new thing, right? You guys are still kind of new. That's great. That's great. I love it. All right. So we always end Tatter-a-fact with a quote, or we try to. Every now and then I forget. But we came up with a really good quote. Actually, you kind of found the quote, came
I
up with
did.
the quote. So do you want to do the honors,
I would love to.
Willow?
Okay. What camera? That one? Okay. None of us is as smart as all of us. And that's very true.
Yeah. Say it, Olivia.
None of us is as smart as all of us.
None of us is as smart as all of us. I love that. The
Mhm.
minute, because we were trying to find something kind of poignant
Mhm.
to end with yesterday, and that just summed it up in just that simple few words. None of us is as smart as all of us. And that is the magic and the beauty of a team, of collaboration. Yeah. I really believe that. So, and I'm just so glad that you two are on this team, that we get to be team members. And I hope that we are team members for many, 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 many years to come. And I am super excited for all the new projects we talk about and dream about doing. And I think we're going to have a blast doing them. So I'm excited about the future. I really, really am. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for hanging out with us on this Tatter-a-fact, the 50th episode. Just a huge, heartfelt thank you to everybody that streams us, watches us on YouTube, follows us, supports us, engages us, sends us emails, leaves me voicemails on Instagram, all the different ways you reach out and communicate with us. We feel we're building a really kind of cool community with this podcast, and we feel really privileged to be doing it. So thank you very much. Stay in the I fucked that up. Stay in the pursuit of happiness, everybody. We will see you next time.